The sim known as Bella Goth was a beautiful, engaging socialite, beloved by her family and all that met her. She led an elegant, active lifestyle, enjoying various pastimes from golf to miniature golf. Those who knew her best would describe her as Jalinin, Kuj, or even Ravashin. With her doting husband, intelligent and well-behaved children, and extravagant wealth, Bella truly had the perfect life until tragedy struck. Bella disappeared without even a dag, leaving behind a broken and grieving family. Even today, the question of what happened to her remains a mystery. Where is she now? Many suspect that she was the victim of foul play, but if so, who, how, and why? Ripped from the headlines, this is the Game Theory Files.
Soul Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that manages to find lore in games that we weren't even convinced had any.
But first, I have an important question for you. How would you like a chance to win a trip for you and a friend to come out and visit me in LA while also doing your part to make the world a more positive place? Well, if you're interested in killing two birds with one stone, then go on over to headcount.org/MattPat. MATPAT. That is not our sponsor for today's episode, by the way. That is actually just something that I wanted to talk to you about at the beginning of today's episode because it's a message and a mission that's really important to me. Headcount is a nonpartisan organization, and their campaign, Good to Vote, has one simple mission: to make sure that you are registered to vote. You go to their website, click on a button, boom, it tells you if you're registered to vote. If you are, great, easy as that. It's just a helpful reminder of, hey, voting's coming up soon. If you're not, though, they're gonna point you to the right place online where you can sign up and register to vote in your local district. And that's kind of important these days. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a lot of big issues that are being debated and decided on, which means that your voice, and more importantly, your vote matters now more than ever before. Especially considering that, you know what? You're a cool, smart, thoughtful theorist who's gonna take these issues seriously. So again, head on over to headcount.org/MattPat and see if you are good to vote. But regardless of your voter registration status, you can enter that sweepstakes for you and a friend to win a trip to meet me out in LA just by going to the site and clicking on pretty much any button over there. For all you international viewers, I'm sorry, this is US only. I know, us in the US have a lot to figure out domestically, but don't worry, I'm gonna put my head to the grindstone? That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna put my head to that grindstone and try to figure out a more global thing in the future. So again, go to headcount.org/MattPat for your chance to enter the sweepstakes and win that travel and hotel for you and a friend to come hang out, because I'm lonely. And so doing giveaways like this gives me a chance to have some friends out there. That'll be nice. At the end of the day, hanging out with a YouTuber that you watch online is a cool prize, but the best prize of all is knowing that you are making a positive difference in the world. So without any more shilling about doing your civic duties, back to the episode.
The day has finally come here, theorists. Today we're talking about one of the best-selling franchises of all time. A game series that's managed to sell an eye-watering 200 million copies worldwide, The Sims. The game that literally tells you to unleash your imagination. Given the types of videos that we release on this channel, you can tell that we have some pretty vivid imaginations. So let's just see if your tagline lives up to my high demands, EA. If somehow you have no idea what I'm talking about, The Sims franchise is a collection of games that originated as a spin-off of the SimCity franchise, a real-time management and construction game. Yeah, it was fine. There was nothing inherently wrong with SimCity, but you know, there's only so hype you can get about city planning. Whoa, look at that sick traffic flow, bro! Public services are off the chain! Damn, that's some fine sewage treatment. Let's just say there's a reason they stopped making those games in 2014, and The Sims are still very much a thing here in 2022. The first game's wildly successful release was the foundation for a video game empire with 4 main games and a wealth of spin-offs, like The Sims Online, The Sims Medieval, and The Sims Bustin' Out, which, much to my dismay, was not about Sims busting out of prison. The games tend to be sandbox-style life simulators where players can create the world and stories for themselves, letting their imaginations run free to create impressive mansions, have illicit affairs, painstakingly recreate their beloved family, and then watch them die while making grilled cheese. Or, you know, you could just trap people in glass boxes and then watch them die. Slowly. Shh, just embrace bison. Let's just say this game can get dark, but if the story is so largely up to us, you can see the problem with me talking about it. There's no mystery to solve if everything is up to you, right? Well, most of the game is totally up to you. The devs couldn't leave things completely in our hands. To round out the world, they added several pre-made families for player-made Sims to interact with. And if you have no imagination whatsoever, or you just don't feel like spending several hours making your own Sims, you can just choose to play as one of these families for yourself. They even come with their own backstory. Backstories. And now you see why this game caught our attention. Where there be backstories, there be lore. And wouldn't you know it, there's one family in particular that's surrounded by mystery. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Goths. The family is composed of Mortimer Goth, Bella Goth, and their 2 children, Cassandra and Alexander. Mortimer Goth is a rather prestigious Sim. He's one of the first settlers of Sunset Valley, the primary setting for Sims 3. And his father was also one of the founders of Pleasant View, one of the primary neighborhoods for Sims 1 and 2. Needless to say, the guy is kind of a big deal. But despite Mortimer's wealth and status, it's his beautiful wife Bella that immediately stole the spotlight. From day one of The Sims, Bella became a firm favorite amongst the fans, and she would stay that way until she mysteriously disappeared. Out of the blue, poof, she was just gone. And not in a, oh, the game designers just didn't include her in the next game sort of way. No, this was baked into the game's canon. When booting up Sims 2 and selecting the Pleasant View neighborhood, players are greeted with information slides that give you a basic backstory for the pre-made Sims. Mortimer Goth has made a fortune. Some newcomers are making trouble, and oh yeah, Bella Goth just disappeared. No explanation, no clear way to bring her back. She's just gone. Now this was weird. Bella and Mortimer even had themselves a daughter, Cassandra. Like, this was an established family unit from the first game, and for some reason a character just disappears with no explanation. With Bella being a crowd favorite, of course the community was devastated. So it's only natural that theorists from far and wide had come together to try and solve the mystery. Unfortunately, no one's ever really been successful. A decade later, and we're still seeing theories pop up all over the place, even on our own subreddit, all providing good leads, but never a final conclusion that the community's been able to agree on. There are always holes that can't be explained away and puzzle pieces that don't fit in properly. However, today is the day that this mystery finally gets laid to rest. I'm gonna take on this gaming cold case and finally get Bella the justice that she deserves. So, what happened to Bella? Was it just a simple case of her leaving her husband and moving to a new neighborhood, or was it something more sinister? It's time to call our 2 main suspects to the stand, starting first with her very own husband, Mortimer Goth. Even though his information slide says that he's struggling with Bella's disappearance, when you start the game, it appears that Mortimer has already entered a relationship with Dina Caliente, the widow of his brother-in-law Michael Batchelor, which, gotta say, that raises some serious red flags off the bat. Oh no, my wife is gone. Guess it's time to date her dead brother's widow. Let's just say it's a bad look. It also gives us motive. You see, The Sims 2 made divorce into a game mechanic. It was a way to punish unfaithful spouses. So if he was cheating and Bella caught him, suddenly Mortimer would have lost his house, his children, and his money, banished forever to the neighborhood's family bin. So by making her disappear, he would get to keep all that luxury for himself. Now, this has been a popular game theory within the Sims community for a while, and while that motive certainly makes for compelling speculation, no evidence within the game seems to fit. Mortimer's relationship meter with Bella across the series is very positive, and the lack of negative interaction memories between the 2 characters means it's unlikely that any cheating occurred, or at least any discovery of cheating. So with no real evidence behind Mortimer, let's instead look at our next suspect, Don Lothario. Now, Dawn is interesting. In the canon of the game, before her disappearance, Bella and Mortimer had a daughter named Cassandra, and in Sims 2, Cassandra is engaged to Dawn. But Dawn isn't exactly what he appears to be. It's hinted at in the game that he may have been a victim of accidental teleportation. Call the back rooms, my friends. It looks like someone is no-clipping through reality again. But not only is he potentially responsible for breaking the laws of time and space, he's also known for breaking the hearts of women around him. Unlike Mortimer, Dawn has zero good reputation. Basically, this guy wants the woohoo. Lots and lots of woohoo, which, as you can imagine, makes him less likely to stay in monogamous relationships. That's why, even though he's engaged to Cassandra, he's more than happy to invite other girls like Nina Caliente over for a date. Checking his relationship panel will reveal that he's also romantically involved with Dina Caliente and Kaylin Langerak, one of the maids in Sims 2. So in total, he's looking for love with basically anything with 2 legs in this game. Cassandra Goth, Nina Caliente, her twin Dina Caliente, and Kaylin. Except there's one more person to add to the list. By checking Don's Simology panel, which lists out the traits of any given character, we can see that he's had a recent failed romantic interaction with none other than Bella Goth. Nothing says husband material quite like trying to make out with your bride's mom. But since it's listed as a failed interaction, we know that she rejected his advances. Could that then be the motive for him trying to get rid of her? A woman who scorned him, embarrassed him? Maybe. If you look at Don's family introduction, you can see that Bella was last seen scaling the deck of his condo. So there you have it. Case closed. He's got motive and his condo was the last place she was seen. We got him, boys! But hold on. See, there's one key piece of evidence that all of this overlooks. Bella's disappearance has a very specific label in the game's memory system: the image of a UFO. She didn't just disappear from Don's roof, she was abducted by aliens from Don's roof. In fact, it says it right there, clear as day. Bella got abducted by aliens. How can the Sims live with the awful knowledge they must have gained? But we can go even deeper than this. If we take a look at Don's family tree, we can definitively prove that he isn't an alien. In the game, aliens and Sims with unusual or supernatural appearances are given the occult tag. And not only does Don have 2 human parents, he's also not labeled as an occult Sim. So if Don's not an alien, he couldn't have been the person to abduct Bella. However, we've already met 2 Sims that could have that power. It's time to take a closer look at Dina and Nina Caliente, the sisters that Don was having an affair with. Looking at the Caliente family tree, we can see that Dina and Nina's grandfather was abducted by aliens, and he then gave birth to their father, which I know seems weird, but in The Sims, if a male Sim is abducted, there's a chance that the Sim will become pregnant with an alien baby. Though their father appears human on the family tree, alien pregnancies result in fully alien babies 100% of the time. Considering that the Caliente sisters' mother is human, Dina and Nina then are 50% alien, which would therefore give them the means to perform alien abductions. So they then have the means, but do they have the motive? The answer is a resounding yes. There's more evidence for their motive than anyone else, in fact. The sisters' family description implies right off the bat that these sisters might not be entirely what they seem. Remember, Mortimer begins dating Dina after Bella's disappearance, but then we're told this. Quote, was it just coincidence that the Caliente sisters arrived on the eve of Bella's disappearance? And is their interest in Mortimer physical or fiscal? All of this is further cemented by playing the game as Dina, which reveals that she's digging for gold. So it's likely the sisters got Bella out of the way so they could swoop in and marry Mortimer for the money. So we've got ourselves means, we've got ourselves motive, but is there one piece of definitive evidence that really ties all of this together? Yes, and it comes from Bella herself. My dear theorists, in the world of The Sims, just because someone was abducted doesn't mean they're completely gone. Sure, Bella's nowhere to be found in Pleasant View, but if you go to the smallest of the Sims 2 neighborhoods, Strangetown, you'll find none other than Bella Goth herself, fresh out of the alien abduction pipeline. This Bella Goth was confirmed to be the same Bella from Sims 1 in an official promo interview posted on the Sims 2 community board for Sims Social, a 2006 Facebook game. And in this interview, Bella starts to bust the mystery wide open. While she's missing a number of her past memories, she has managed to regain a couple. When asked whether Dina was responsible for her abduction, she says this, quote, when Dina and Nina moved into town, they were certainly very forward with my husband. In fact, it was almost insulting how openly they were trying to win him over, as if I didn't notice. I think someone sent Dina to town specifically to pull Mortimer away from me. I couldn't have possibly imagined that trying to create a life elixir that could help everyone would ever push someone to ruin our marriage. Even before Bella was abducted, the Caliente sisters were trying to pull Mortimer away from Bella. There are plenty of other wealthy Sims around, but none of them are responsible for creating a life elixir, which is what the sisters truly want. Bella was standing in their way of learning the life elixir's secrets. Meanwhile, Don's well-known womanizing made him the perfect scapegoat for the crime. Except there's one final wrinkle to the story. If Bella was able to resurface and start regaining her memories, why did she never return to the town? Why wasn't she able to expose the Caliente sisters for the money-grubbing aliens that they were? Well, the girls had one last trick up their alien sleeves: time travel. They sent Bella back in time to keep her quiet. And no, I'm not crazy. Hear me out on this one. The first 2 Sims games happened sequentially in the timeline. However, Sims 3 isn't a sequel, but rather a prequel, set 25 years before Sims 1 and 50 years before Sims 2. If you take a look around one of Sims 3's neighborhoods, Sunset Valley, you'll find 2 very young but very familiar faces, Mortimer and Bella, the young couple who'll eventually grow up to become the adult goths that we know from The Sims 1. But if you travel to another part of the map, Lunar Lakes, you can find a grave site. Hover over one of the graves and you find that it belongs to none other than Bella Goth, who apparently died from old age. And yes, this too has been confirmed to be the same Bella Goth from Sims 1 and 2 by one of the former producers. So clearly some time travel shenanigans are going on here. But the Caliente sisters couldn't possibly be responsible for this too, right? They can, and And they are. By taking a look at one of the other neighborhoods, Riverview, you'll find another very familiar sim, Don Lothario. But here, he's not a child. He's still his sleazy adult self. And unlike Bella, we actually get some explanation for how he wound up in this new location. His family biography states that he stepped, quote, onto a teleporter and magically wound up here. That, my friends, wasn't a teleporter, it was a time machine. And not only that, but him stepping onto it wasn't an accident. One of his last memories is of, quote, several women laughing as he stepped into the machine. These women, the Calientes, would know what was going to happen and would have the ability to time travel themselves if they wanted to. And you want to know who we find if we visit Barnacle Bay in this game? That's right, Nina and Dina Caliente. Just like Don, fully grown up. In fact, Dina's character biography specifically mentions her breaking hearts in Pleasant View, a city that, given that the Goths are still living in Sunset Valley, hasn't yet been founded. This all proves that the Caliente sisters have not only been able to time travel, but have the technology to send both Bella and Don to the past to protect their secrets. For over a decade, Sims fans have tried to discover the truth behind Bella's disappearance, mostly focusing on Don Lothario's involvement because of his reputation. Though the Caliente sisters have occasionally come up as accomplices, they've never been the main focus. However, all the evidence that we've gathered paints a much different story. One where Don took the fall for Dina and Nina's crimes, and the Caliente sisters got everything they dreamed of. Mortimer's money, a mysterious elixir, a life of fabulous wealth and fame, and absolutely no consequences. After all, they'd made sure that the only people who knew the truth were trapped in a place where they'd never get out. The past. It seems that they covered up their tracks so well that even the fans were fooled by it. However, it seems like Bella might finally have been the one to get the last laugh. As we just saw, the original Bella is dead from old age in Sims 3, meaning that she was sent even further back to the past in this game, but that would then give her a lot of time unsupervised, finally able to tell her side of the story. That's why there's a children's book in this game called Where's Bella, similar to Where's Waldo, written by a character, I Am Right, a character who also wrote Predictions of the Future. Bella is I Am Right. There's another book in here called Murder in Pleasant View by Alexander Goth. Alexander Goth is Bella's son, but he isn't even close to being born yet, unless it's all a pseudonym once again for Bella, making sure that her story is heard. All of these books actually explain why the Sims with the investigator professional make remarks like, this reminds me of when Bella went missing. I need to keep looking. Sims in this timeline are aware of everything that happened. They've even set up a beneficiary that good Sims can donate to. Bella changed the course of history with these books, allowing Sims to try and avoid the same mistakes from happening a second time. And maybe, just maybe, the Caliente sisters will finally be thwarted. So the next time a pair of attractive twins start showing interest in you, just know that they're probably aliens looking to steal your money and then teleport you to the past. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.